Welcome inside the Axe Lounge for the first episode of Catching Up with McCreary. I'm Doug Lattuca with Hat-Trick's head coach Billy McCreary. Billy, how's it going?
Going well. How are you?
I'm doing well. You guys have two games this weekend, one on the road in Watertown, then you're back here in Binghamton. How has practice been this week?
It's been good. The guys have been energized. We still haven't found our game. We're still not where we want to be. So there's certainly there's a will out there, and they've been working hard all week.
What are some specifics you guys are working on in practice as a result maybe of some of the games that you mentioned to us that weren't at the level of play that you wanted?
Yeah, I don't think our forecheck has been, where we want it to be. So that's certainly been an area of emphasis here this week. And, within the forecheck, there's a lot that goes into that, angling, body checking, just the fundamentals of the game. So it's been fun breaking it down and getting into those fundamentals. And, hopefully it's going to pay off here this weekend.
Entering now into November, a couple weeks into the season, chemistry, always a big question in the early going. How has this group started to mesh together?
I think they're gelling. They enjoy each other in the locker room. You can see when they're outside of the rink, they're always hanging out together. There's not really any cliques in that group. So that's good to see. But now it's about how that applies to their play on the ice. And I think our communication needs to get much better when we're on the ice, and hopefully as the weeks go on, we can continue to get a little bit better in that regard. And we'll certainly see how that is this weekend against two good opponents in Watertown and Binghamton.
So you mentioned communication. You could talk about it all week in practice about talking, but how does it actually happen on the ice? How are guys comfortable with each other where communication just happens, where it's not you just barking and trying to get them to do it, and it actually results into it happening on the ice?
It starts before practice. We ask these guys to be authentic. We ask them to show who they are, and don't go in the locker room and kind of just sit on your hands and get a feel for everything. Like, be who you are and add that element into the room. And I think the more that happens, the more guys get used to each other, they understand each other, they get to know each other, and the more comfortable you get, the easier it is to communicate. So I think, we're doing some things off the ice and team building, and hopefully that starts to translate on the ice.
Last weekend, split a home series with Carolina. What were some of the differences from game one to game two?
Well, certainly our third period was probably the biggest difference. I mean, that third period for us on Friday night was just not how we play the game. And, sometimes you're going to have those moments, and you got to make sure that you learn from them. You put them behind you. And that's what I was so proud of the group, and how they responded on Saturday night. Very similar situation going into the third period. And, we ended up taking care of business. So it wasn't easy, but the guys found a way to get it done. And, Carolina is a really good hockey club, so it's a good gauge for us early on in the season.
Connor McCullum has been great in net, leads the league in save percentage and goals against average, albeit he's made 3 starts in the early season. What have you seen from him that has led to his stellar play so far?
He's a competitor, and I mean, any good team that I've been a part of, you always have to have that rock and goal, and he seems to have those moments where he's down and out, and he's just able to take away the space from the shooter and make that big save. And he's been great early on. It is a long season, and we do need to make sure that all of our players and as a team in general, we're just continuing to get better and better here.
Also makes a pretty good model. If you haven't seen our merchandise shoot, he was involved in that. Always a lot of fun. If you want to buy stuff, you can. DanburyHattricks.com. Little merchandise menu. You can buy whatever you want. Hats, shirts, sweatshirts. Maybe that hat right there. Everything's available. This sweatshirt, it's all available for you. Back to the play on the ice. We'll do our favorite segment, and you've become used to this question a little bit. The Hat-Tricks win both games this weekend if fill in the blank.
We can stay out of the box.
Stay out of the box. Last question for you. Celebrity crush.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
There it is. All right, that's the first Catching Up with McCreary. Doug Lattuca with Hat Trick's head coach Billy McCreary, ahead of 2 games this weekend, one against Watertown on the road and then back here at home against Binghamton.